What's up, YouTube? This is Daxon here with Weaver Family Farms. Today I'm going to be going over an article that I recently put on my website. I kind of pulled a whole bunch of information together because I didn't really find any guides like this. If you want to check out the article while I'm kind of going over it, and instead of just showing my screen like an animated type video, I kind of wanted to talk with it in case I can say some things a little quicker and make sure I don't miss anything. But it's noxad.org, as you can see here. So basically this video is about deworming goats. So as I put here on this page, you'll find a great guide when it comes to deworming goats. Typically, since goats have a much faster metabolism than other animals, the dosage is quite a bit higher, and sometimes it's 3 to 4 times the dose as it would be, like, say, if you have I believe it's Panicure, which is actually a horse dewormer. The dosage is like 3 or 4 times more than what it would be with a horse. But anyway, this is kind of a reference I have here, and kind of a general rule of thumb I've learned is when you go to deworm a goat, instead of just using one kind or one class of dewormer, you want to use a different kind over a 3-day period. So like you would say use Ivamec on one day, and then day 2 like a Valbazin, and then day 3 a Panicure, if that makes sense. This is actually the class name, some call it, or the specific group or the kind, like ivermectin, albendazole. I'm not even really sure how to say that. And then, there's a whole bunch of different ways. What I have been recently using myself is I used 4 actually, but I recently found out from talking to a few other people that's been raising goats for a really long time is Ivamec isn't really the best thing when it comes to barberpole worms. Sorry, I drew a blank there for a second. The dreaded barberpole worm is typically 95% of the time the problem when it comes to your goat being really anemic or lethargic, because they multiply really fast, and you'll get a lot of blood loss, leading to your goat becoming anemic, really tired and weak, not really wanting to eat. And you can use the I think it's called the Famantia scale, where you pull down the eyelid of your goat. If you don't know what that is, you can go check it out. Just Google it, or I also have it here on the website. And the lighter the color the inside of your goat's eye is, like white, you got a big problem. If it's like starting to get between like a pink and a white color, you do have a worm load, but it's not as serious. Things like that, you kind of have to look at the colors yourself. But here I have all the different types of dewormers that are really good for goats, and kind of got sidetracked there. But what I used was Panicure and Ivamec. So we'll start with this one since it's on the top. I used Ivamec, and currently the dosage for goats, even though Ivamec is typically an injectable you would buy in a big bottle, and it's like $30 or something, but if you have animals anyway, really good to have some Ivamec on hand. It can treat like ear mites, and dogs. You can use it for lice, mange mites, so on and so forth. And then I went and I used some Panicure, was the next thing I used. And some people will say it doesn't work on barberpole worms, some do, so I guess it really depends on where you live. But Panicure has always been a favorite of mine, especially it saved one of my dogs years and years ago that had a heavy worm load. And I want to say those were hookworms, but that's kind of a completely different story. And then the third dewormer, which I used on the 3rd day, was actually in this group, and we used Prohibit. You get it in a big old pack. It was like, I don't even remember, $20 or something, which kind of seemed expensive. But then when I seen it made an entire gallon, and the actual amount that you would give your goat is crazy. Only 5 cc per 100 pounds of goat, and so if you have a 50-pound goat, you'd only do 2.5 cc or so. And this is important. You definitely do not want to overdose with this, which I know you don't try to anyway, but some dewormers like Panicure, sorry, I'm holding my son Gentry here, he's talking. If you use a deworming medication such as Panicure, you know it's not usually as serious if you give a little too much. This, you want to make sure you have the correct dose. And right here is kind of a breakdown, like, because most people, especially like me, right now we only have 5 goats. We don't want to make a whole gallon and then have to worry about keeping it in the refrigerator and then still even how long it'll last. You know, the powder is going to last longer itself. So you can use like a kitchen scale and measure out 52 grams, 500 milliliter cc of water, all the way down to 6.5 grams to 62.5 cc of water. So you would measure this with like a syringe and then get the weight of this, mix it together, and then you could dose 5 cc per 100 pounds. So yeah, definitely check this article out. I'm going to be making some other videos about goats and all types of things to help people out. I am not a vet, however, from experience and learning and really studying, I really hope that I can help other people with information, you know, making something like this simple. I haven't ever been able to find a guide like this, specifically online, especially one that tells you, hey, you need to use a deworming medication, you know, out of this class, and then the second day this group, and so on and so forth. So that's something really important, to make sure you're using multiple kinds. And at the same time, you don't want to deworm too often. So some people will just go through and, hey, I want to deworm my goat this month, I want to deworm my goat this month, so on and so forth. But then other people will say that is what's making deworming medication not work as well, because the worms themselves are getting tolerant. Some people will say, oh, it's the goat's body is getting tolerant. Well, that's not it. It's the worms over time are getting tolerant to the deworming medication. So you can check out this article. It's just called Deworming Goats, Dosages and Kinds of Deworming Medications. Go to my website. You can see it right here, noxad.org, and you can search it, or it'll be under the animals tab, whatever, but you can find this. I'll try to put the link in the video here on YouTube. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave a comment below this video, and I will do my best to help you out. And thanks for watching. Thumbs up if it helped you. See you later. Bye-bye.